Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time zone you are joining us from. I want to welcome you to this RFID Enablement of Supply Chain webinar. And if there's any silver lining that can be found in the current state of the world, it is that we are all given some more time at our desk to attend webinars, and take a step back and kind of plan and think through kind of big pictures for our companies and the projects that we are working on. My name is Tony Kang, and I'm a channel account manager here with Zebra, and I manage Crave InfoTech, who is one of my partners. And before I introduce our speakers today, I do want to remind us to stay tuned until the end. We will have a short quiz. I promise they will be very, very easy questions, and it will give away a couple $50 gift cards. First, I want to introduce them in backward order of what they are presenting, so Carl's going to be able to get started right away. But Shrikant Nistane is the CEO of Crave InfoTech, but he goes by the humble title of a digital transformation specialist. And he reluctantly, I work with him all the time, and we probably speak on a daily basis, but he reluctantly shares that he is the CEO lest you think that, he's going to be one of those uninvolved CEOs, but I guarantee that any project that you have, you will be working very closely and directly with him. And Crave InfoTech has been a longtime SAP partner and is a premier solution partner with Zebra Technologies. Our first speaker will be Kallen. Kallen is Zebra's North American Regional Portfolio Manager for IES, or Intelligent Edge Solutions, including RFID. And as an RPM, he works with the field and Zebra's various global product management organizations to collect insights, requirements, and input to support the long-term product development. And in parallel, he supports the field by supporting launch and in-life activities of his portfolio set. And Carl has worked close to Zebra for 3 years and at the global headquarters in Lincolnshire. And he is originally from Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden, and you will quickly know as soon as he begins speaking. So without further ado, Carl, take it away.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm blushing. So pleasure to be on the call and to get the opportunity here to speak through the InfoTech, Crave InfoTech organization. So I know we're going to be touching upon the supply chain specifically today. RFID is a fascinating technology, pretty mature as well, by the way. It's not something that was invented yesterday. So I think we're seeing a lot of interesting growth. I'll get into a little bit of a background here on why it's important, right? So we're seeing a lot of this technology then driving new initiatives, supply chain initiatives, multi-channel retail. We're seeing that in manufacturing and Industry 4.0, et cetera. Very much enabling the data driven economy, right? Being able to track things, being able to trace them, have a location accuracy that's good. And all this, of course, is driving new use cases. The growth of this particular industry right now is around 20% year on year. And some of the verticals are very ripe to be taken. They haven't really been fully worked on. This picture to the right, by the way, is just an illustration of items that are tagged in a mall. Somebody went out and took, I think, a sample of items that are being tracked. So it's already being used heavily by retailers. This is something that one of my printer colleagues sent me, but basically it's to illustrate, hey, it's already out there. It's being used very much so in certain verticals. And I think one lesson that you guys, I think, we as an industry need to be aware of as well, and that is that if you and your customers are not talking RFID, well, maybe someone else is, right? So it is a pretty significant growth we're seeing in this industry. Speaking of which, the growth rate has been phenomenal, particularly then in retail. I mentioned that before, but also in non-retail, and we're starting to see how that is growing more broadly. I'm hearing a little bit of background noise, so a mute of my microphones would be useful. Thank you. Why is it growing now? I hinted on that too. You know, we're no longer looking at an emerging technology with very little experience. I think we're in the second decade of RFID. It's a very solid standard. You see, you know, these standard logos to the bottom right. We all associate the Bluetooth logo with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and near-field communications. Well, we're also driving it as an industry around the RAIN initiative. RAIN is a special interest group that's also trying to promote the technology in a more consumer, or let's call it industry-facing way, so it's simpler, right? Maybe just going into supply chain specifically, and for this call, I think this is a good illustration of what we would like to see, and this is what Zebra is working with our partners on. It's really being able to track and trace, you know, elements through the supply chain, the chain of custody, having that full traceability of understanding the provenance and where things are in a supply chain. You need to leverage certain pieces of technology. In some cases, of course, it would be centric on a device, and we at Zebra are very strong with devices, but it's also borne up by the backbone of other technologies such as blockchain. We at Zebra also collect data for blockchain with something called Savannah. I'm not going to go into the details here, but we are enabling this type of traceability, and many of our partners will also be working in this area, really to make sure that there's that end-to-end delivery.
Hey, Carl, you're getting a lot of background noise. I don't know if you can mute everybody or not, but it'd be helpful.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's quiet here. You can hear a needle drop, but I hear a lot of background noise as well.
Carl, you can just mute all for now, and then you can start. You have that right. Yeah. Sorry to disturb. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's better. I'll continue. So where are we seeing the adoption of RFID, and where are the main use cases? Again, I think this is a good illustration of four verticals that Zebra works very heavily on. We also work with government, oil and gas to some extent, but we are seeing in T&L, manufacturing, healthcare, and retail certain use cases that are becoming pretty significant, right? Maybe 10, 15 years ago, we hadn't really developed them, but for T&L, for instance, and I think I'll focus on that, maybe healthcare today, we're seeing the distribution and shipping and receiving use cases that are being automated, many times with fixed readers. Asset tracking as well, baggage tagging, there's a new mandate around that, and many types of warehouse operations. In healthcare, of course, the importance of healthcare and being able to acclimatize to this new environment that we're living in. Zebra's doing a lot of work around COVID right now with you know, patient tracking, specimens, being able to work together then with partners that can come up with clever solutions to handle this crisis that we're in right now, being able to really attach and leverage the RFID technology to use cases that are there or that we can expect in the second wave. Most likely we'll see this bug come back next year or later in the autumn, right? So that's as much that we can do together with partners, together with the end customers to really figure out what are the blockers, what are the problems, and how do we solve them with clever solutions leveraging this technology. And of course, for many of you, you are familiar with RFID, and what sets it out over others is that you get that item level visibility versus a barcode. Barcodes are great. They are limited in their range, right? You can only scan one at a time, whereas you can scan so many with RFID and really leverage also some type of locationing, and also you can also employ it for tracking and tracing several and also getting their location within a very high degree of accuracy. I'm going to move on here. In the interest of really promoting Zebra, which I also have to do here, I do need to talk about what sets us apart in this business, right, of RFID. We've taken a very conscientious and very deliberate decision to become an end-to-end supplier of all things RFID. There's no other player quite like us that has the breadth of portfolio enabling this RFID technology. Starting with the very, very basics, we have a certain roadmap and also a certain portfolio of inlays and labels. These are fundamental. Every single use case will need a specific label. And Zebra has made a decision to not focus on the low-end, high-volume ones, but more on the specialized ones that bring more value to customers. It could be anything from being able to track certain pallets at a longer distance. We have labels for that, and as well as silver line labels that can attach to certain metal substances. So we're not a one-stop shop for all labels out there, but for the special ones, right? In terms of printers, we're very well known in the industry for our high capacity industrial grade printers. Many of Fortune 500 companies rely on our mobile printers as well. And the good news here is that in every single category of printers, we have an RFID encoding capability that you can either buy as an upgrade for the ZT600 series, or in the case of the other product lines, we have specific printers, either for a desktop, a mobile, an industrial, etc. So we have a very broad offer here. The next step then are the handhelds, as well as the, we call them sleds that leverage Bluetooth. Basically, you connect your mobile computer or a or a consumer device, if you have those in your park, to an RFID reader, which is portable, and you use that, of course, to check, read, as well as locate certain items in a use case, right? So those are quite important. I'm going to go into some detail of these. We call them foundational in nature. These are super important tools. So if you're not going all the way to a fixed antenna and fixed reader environment, which is a little bit more advanced, a little bit more automated, what's really important is that you keep an eye on these foundational handhelds. So going into that, I'm going to just go quickly through the roadmap. Some of the highlight products that are really important. Again, we have these inlays up to 30 sizes, apply for different type of use cases. This is super important as well as you design your RFID workflow. Our partners can certainly help out with the selection of these supplies, right? Two that I would like to just bring to the fore are the ZBR 4000. I mentioned it before. It's really good for reads from several different angles, warehouse applications. We're using it for some overhead array readers that we're taking to market, and they have exceptional read ranges of up to 60 feet. Also the general purpose ZBR 2000. Very steady, great, versatile one. Probably not the one that you're going to put on jewelry in a retail store, but more for mid-sized labels and inlays that really work and stand up for very good general use cases. Going into the readers then, so again, the way we categorize the readers again is in fixed readers to the top, and then we have the handhelds. And at the very bottom, you also see the portfolio of antennas that Zebra takes to the market. The antennas connect to the fixed readers at the top. And then, of course, the handhelds and the sleds are items that we work with, depending on use cases. What's really important here is to show you a little bit about how our engineering is thinking. We have developed a next generation radio chipset that all our readers work with, which gives us a lot of security in our supplies and supply chain. It's something that's really important to customers. We have a very good control of the way we develop this, and really important to the end customers on the call today is the fact that we can secure for a very long amount of time. We can secure the continuation of the supply chain, and we've utilized some of the Motorola engineering prowess that we have in the company from several decades of radio technology development, right? So we have great engineers that have been working on that radio stack. On top of that, we have an ASIC that's been especially developed, low in power consumption, unique to Zebra, following all the standards, but of course uniquely ours, which helps us also tweak sensitivities, tweak also read rates, and we have a very high level of performance. That's just a little bit so you get a sense for how these products are built out. In terms of handhelds then, we have really three categories. To the far left, you'll see the 2D presentation imagers. These are great for short range, near range kind of reading zones, up to 6 feet really. It's a 2D presentation imager, which also has an RFID radio, which is emitting a small read zone in front, right? This is so you have an opportunity to capture more than one type of read and have a, second redundant, not redundant, but like a second level of security that a certain item has passed by a zone. We see this particularly in retail, at checkout, but we also see this type of use case in specimen tracking, laboratories, etc. So you get your barcode scan, but you also get your RFID read. You can actually combine both pieces of information to have 100% assurance. In the center, you'll see our SLED portfolio, again, very versatile. It connects to the left here, the RFID 8500 connects to Zebra devices, but also certain consumer devices. This also brings you a lot of mobility. The presentation imagers are fixed. They're connected to a USB and are tethered. In terms of the RFID 8500, again, you can carry it with you. You can snap it on, or you can snap on your mobile computer and use it around in a certain location to get reads and also locate items that you're trying to search for. We've made also the RFID 2000 connected exclusively to the TC20, which is our entry-level offer. So that would be like an entry-level offering connected to an RFID reader. So that's kind of a nice thing if you're just getting started with RFID. To the right, we have the integrated handhelds, which are awesome. They're best in class in terms of ergonomics. And there are two different flavors of these. The one to the left, the MC3330R, is for, let's call it more general purpose reads, pretty wide beam angle, whereas the one to the right is for long distance, right? It's got what's called a Yagi antenna, the MC3390R. It's better suited for, let's call it the warehouse environment, also outdoors, where you need to cover much broader or wider areas rather, because it's reading, linear reading beam can go as far as 60 feet, right? The way the RFID radio is operating here is giving you a read that's much more pinpointed and much further, goes much further, which is illustrated here again by these two different slides. Again, MC3330R, more for back of store data centers and healthcare if you're looking for items, finding items. If you're looking at doing a quick cycle count or an inventory of your items, it's awesome. It can capture a lot of reads with a couple of sweeps, but it's kind of limited to near field, whereas the MC3390R can go much, much further. Again, illustrated by these pictures of the warehouse worker where you can actually capture a read at a long distance. They also come in different configurations in terms of built-in scanners as well, barcode scanners. The ones, the 3330R has, let's call it a general purpose scanner, scan engine, whereas the one in the MC3390R is for long distances as well. So again, two different utilities and two extremely good ergonomically fitting devices. If you haven't tried them out, make sure you get your hands on one to just sense it. Very quick read rates as well. Going into the fixed readers, here again, what really differentiates fixed readers versus the handhelds are you need to really start thinking about infrastructure. It's for frequent reads in terms of fixed readers, high value normally, advanced process manufacturing. It's for when you're looking for control, you want to monitor, do some advanced tracking, also for certain automated POS or checkouts and loss prevention. So it's really automation. When you hear automation, or if you're thinking automation, fixed readers is the way to go. Whereas handhelds, as we mentioned before, do cycle counts. It's for something you use, maybe you snap on the mobile computer on top of your sled, and you can do it occasionally. It's typically a lower cost of installing as well. And yeah, it's really for locationing and basic tracking, thanks to the Geiger counter modality that we can add to the handheld, right? So two very different use cases. And for this, you have to start thinking, you know, what am I trying to do in my supply chain? Am I trying to automate it? Do I just need a little bit of help with RFID to leverage the technology, or do I need to do something a bit more in depth? In terms of the basic architecture then, and this is just very, very basic, so we all get the same sort of, you know, fundamental understanding. At one end, you have your antennas, which are used then to light up the tags that you have placed on certain items. You have your fixed reader that you connect to that as well, which then goes through an Ethernet cable onto a network where you get power, but also is a hub. Typically, our readers have a number of antenna ports, either 2, 4, or 8, depending on the configuration. And then you'll need to partner up with a partner that can help you with interfaces, analytics, and the business value. If you're trying to track certain things that are going into your warehouse, for instance, you do need to build some type of a software together with a partner that can bring you that sort of utility. Just reading for reading's sake doesn't do much. You need to have some system that might connect to a WMS or an ERP system where you have your information. Finally, storing it in a database for some data analytics. So for that, we have the FX9600. It's more of our industrial look fixed reader, comes in 4 or 6 port configurations. We have the FX7500, which comes in 2 or 4 port configurations. We have very strong performance in this market. Some of these readers are really capturing tremendous amount of reads in very short periods of time. Just a couple of things, if you have anything to do with Ethernet IP, please come to Zebra. We have just made available some firmware that can help you connect your PLCs to our fixed readers. Also, if you're looking at forklift mounting the readers, we have a new solution and also a power supply for that. Also, for any 4G cellular connectivity, if you want to take your readers outside of the 4 walls, we offer that also with a modem that we've just introduced. And to help you guys out, we also have a very simple to use configuration tool that your partners can use. Very simple, it's called 123 RFID Desktop. I mentioned the antennas, so they're rugged and general purpose antennas, but it really depends on the use case. You know, how large of a read zone do you need? Do you need to have a very narrow one, small one? The good news is the software, 123 RFID Desktop, helps you really optimize those reads and tune your antennas and readers. Yeah, this is just an example of the specifications we bring to market. Just final product here before I hand it back over. We've introduced an RTLS RFID reader, so that's a real-time location solution RFID reader. RFID stands for RF, or radio frequency identification. And this is really to capture things that are in motion in real time, right? So you can actually use this. In the past, you could only do it really with active systems with battery emitting tags, but here you can actually capture these tags with this reader as they are in motion in a warehouse. Really cool system. We're taking it to market now really to track inventory equipment, workers, and forklifts in real time. And here you see the different use cases for manufacturing, warehouse, transportation, really enabling the supply chain, right? Here's another way of just looking at how it works. It works with triangulation. The readers are above and they capture things that are in motion. It could be humans, forklifts, or inventory. Again, helping you with that supply chain visibility. Final point here from my side is, as customers, please ask yourself the question, can RFID help your workflows and help you become more productive? Do you have any value in item level visibility? If so, I think RFID could be really important for you. Did your customers value your traceability and provenance of goods in the supply chain? And are you considering to automating certain workflows, particular after this COVID thing? If so, I think you need to consider RFID. Remember that handhelds are foundational. The inlays are very important here in terms of what you're trying to solve for. Is it volume, or are you looking for something very specific or specialty wise? In terms of printers, come to us for some trouble-free encoding. And remember that our fixed readers can also help you with the automation or reduction of human errors, right? By putting up these portals, etc., you can capture things in certain read zones. And then finally, the real-time locationing is really cool here. It's a new technology. Maybe there's something we can help you guys out with. And finally here, this is probably the call to action for the next speaker, is really important that you partner with very good partners here in order to get the most out of your investments, right? So you need to work with Zebra, but also with our partners for discover, design, software, middleware, system installation, and services. And that's kind of it in a very short period of time. I'm a bit over. Questions?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Just a quick question. Yep. Are there any plans to do a Wi-Fi integration for the fixed readers? I have received this request several times in the past. I know we can use a Wi-Fi dongle to plug in the USB port from the FX readers, but from the last investigation I did, those dongles are outdated, and it's really hard to find them now.
No, we support Wi-Fi through dongles, as you said, and if you send me your details, I can give you more information on the brands that we support. To my knowledge, we support most of our fixed reader installations are done with Ethernet cabling, but of course Wi-Fi can be very useful as well. So yeah, just send me a little note here, and I'll make sure you get the information on the latest Wi-Fi dongles that we recommend. They're quite capable.
Perfect. I will do that.
Sure.
Thank you, Carl.
Okay. All right, well, that's all I had. Thank you very much for your attention. Hopefully we can combine with you and Crave, and really a pleasure to be on the call. I hope you paid attention because there's a couple of prizes at stake here.
And I know Chris Thomas, I know you asked a question, and we'll get you the answer to the training program question afterwards.
Okay, thank you, because everything I've seen has been pretty stale. So.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, excellent. Thank you, Carl. That was very helpful. Always there is something to learn. I'm Shrikant Nistane, and thank you for blushing introduction, Tony, as always. So just real quick, how we come into picture, right? So we bring following things together. So we are SAP partner. So we bring SAP technology, SAP cloud platform, our prepackaged apps, Zebra mobile computing. Of course, that includes RFID, tablets, printing, scanning, barcode enablement, all of that. And also the geo enablement from Here technology. So I don't know if you guys heard name Here, but Here is another B2B player, pretty well known actually. Here is now owned by transportation companies like Mercedes-Benz, Ford, and all the known brands. They actually invested in that company. So we work with them to bring all these three things together. So ERP, mobile computing, and geo enablement together to provide you solution for warehouse management, enterprise asset management, and field service and supply chain. So these are the three key areas where we have several products which are available as a pre-package. Quick again, just a summary, 13-year-old company. We have several partnerships with SAP, sell, build, and service. We are a premier partner with Zebra, ISV, and also reseller. Wherever, if you have a partner, reseller who is already you have relationship, then we'll be happy to work as an ISV without any conflict. But we can also, wherever you don't have a partner and you believe that we can add value from the beginning, we'll play both the roles happily. Global presence. How is our relationship? I just mentioned premier partner, ISV, all of our applications. I'm going to talk about them. They are already validated by Zebra. So what does that mean? They are tested for memory leak, battery usage, user interface, backend integration. All application validations are tested for effective utilization of Zebra native APIs and Zebra mobile DNA functions. So we have embedded them very well. So once they are all the applications are ready to go onto a mobile device without any further challenges. And we have a dedicated team that are trained to develop application on Zebra platform. So that includes computing RFID, printer integration, especially with SAP solutions. And we also do the custom development. So we have we have seen all of this from Carl. I just wanted to bring that. So we have worked with all of these in the past for several applications and solution, and I'm going to talk about them at the end. I'm going to give you a glimpse of some of the applications and the screenshots. We also work with we are starting our relationship with Zebra's location technology. We are getting our team up to speed now. For these some of the technologies which Zebra offers for the location services. So if you have anything now, deep diving into those three areas, warehouse. So Android in warehouse, of course, we all know that. We have our own warehouse management solution. That's my next slide, which goes on to Android or Windows platform. The good part with our applications, they are all developed using SAP's Fiori technology. So they are responsive. The same code base works on tablet, mobile, desktop, doesn't matter, automatically adjusts. And they are, most of our applications are offline also. Field supply chain, so connected assets and tracking, truck latency management, yard management, last mile tracking, venue mapping. These are different applications we have into this toolkit. Finally, enterprise asset management. So that includes the maintenance, calibration, breakdown, and so forth. Just to a glimpse of how the application looks like. I mean, I'm sure you have seen these old applications, green, blue, black screen, and this is the new generation application. Intuitive, easy to use, and responsive on all the platforms. So we help simplifying user interface. And these applications goes onto the sled, the phones on the sled. It's in on my next slide. In addition to the user interface simplification, we also help to simplify the architecture. In the traditional way, you have middlewares for every one of those old technologies. That middleware is gone. It's a direct connection with SAP. So you have a responsive application directly connected with SAP. So that's what we bring to the table. So this is how the same application looks like. Typically, the second one in the row will go onto the sled of the RFID, and all of our applications they are barcode enabled, they are RFID enabled, and they work seamlessly on any of these platforms. So this is how they look like. This is the warehouse management solution. Moving on, so we have DSD, which is also used into the and works with the RFID environment. This is the look and feel of the screen. This is a standard Fiori user interface. This is our connected asset, which basically helps us to track all of those RFID enabled devices assets on a geo-enabled map. So that's the connected asset solution. Last one is we also have a solution called truck loading, and that's within the yard and takes care of the get-to-get process of the supply chain and helps us to bring the inputs from the RFID devices, reading them and bringing them to the geo-enabled framework, which again, we pass it on to the ERP solutions. This is about the Zebra DNA. A lot of you, if you have worked with Zebra, so these are different solutions available from Zebra DNA, and we integrate them effectively with our applications. Finally, this is a long list of applications: EAM, supply chain, so we have warehouse, direct store delivery, vendor connect, truck loading, production order management, and there are several in the order to cash, dashboards, approvals, connected assets, but especially the enterprise asset management, supply chain, product lifecycle management, they all are RFID enabled. Most of them work offline, and they are tested with the Zebra different form factor devices. So that's our complete portfolio of applications. And basically they cater almost every department you can have within the organization. This is our quick sample of some of our customers: utilities, oil and gas, healthcare, life sciences, pharma manufacturing, water utilities, chemical, retail. Siemens is large organization. Comscope is high-tech manufacturing. So that's a list of Adani is generation, distribution, gas, water, ports, and agro manufacturing, and they are using a lot of our applications. So this is actually a quiz time. So I'm going to hand it over to Tony, and he will drive the quiz. Tony?
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you guys all hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Everybody is on mute. So yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
So I will be asking a couple of questions, and Crave and Zebra employees are not included for this. Sorry to all of you. But yeah, so the first correct answer will be getting the prize. So if you can go to the chat button and send me a private message, then that would be great. And again, there's no tricks here. They're going to be fairly easy. So the first question that we have is, what does RFID stand for? What does RFID stand for? And please send me a direct private message. You slide into my DMs on Zoom.
And his name is
Tony. All right, we got a winner. Nitin Gokali. Sorry if I mispronounced. So you will be getting one of the gift. Oh, Gokhale. Okay.
Okay.
Second question is, what is the level of Crave InfoTech's partnership with Zebra? What is the level of partnership, or what level are they at? What is the level? Close. Someone put ISSV. So I will give some options. Are they a premier business partner? Are they a registered reseller? Or are they a premier solutions partner? Close. Someone put premium ISV, but it is close.
Next question. We can go to next question. No problem.
Okay. So they are a premier solution partner, but Nistane, you already answered one, so it's it's one prize per person, but they are a premier solution partner with Zebra Technologies. How about what makes Zebra unique when it comes to the RFID portfolio? What makes Zebra unique when it comes to the RFID portfolio? Slightly more open-ended. What makes Zebra unique when it comes to the RFID portfolio? All right, we'll take it. I put so Rohit Jain put complete RFID solution. We'll take that, and that is correct. It is unparalleled portfolio breadth. A lot of manufacturers specialize in one thing or another, but we offer the entire breadth. And let's do one more. What are 3 key offerings of Crave InfoTech? Because remember one of the last slides that Shrikant showed. Name 3. Okay, Rohit, that's 1. June, that's 1. What are 3? All right, June, give me one more. June. All right, June got it. So, yeah, that concludes our quiz. And as far as next steps go, I will let Shri take it, but just remember that you can contact Shrikant Nistane directly for a quick 15-minute call for an initial assessment. No strings attached, no commitments, but a quick conversation to kind of answer the specific questions that you may have had around potentially deploying something with Zebra and Crave. And I guess we do have a couple more minutes here if anyone wants to chime in with any other questions.
Tony, I think Christopher has one question in chat.
Yeah, so I know earlier Chris had asked, is there a training program for RFID and is it up to date? I have seen workflow-specific RFID training, example, MotionWorks, and he says he is looking for an all-encompassing RFID training program. And Chris, was that a question to Zebra or to Crave? Chris, you still on?
You will have to unmute, Chris, if you want to. You can unmute. But I think
I'm looking. I think he may have jumped.
Well, we can talk about that maybe.
Sure, Carl, go ahead,
Yeah. So at Zebra, we do offer training on RFID for our partners, and that is part of I guess Crave. If you're interested in learning more about RFID, we can certainly help you. We do have some occasional trainings that we offer also to end customers together with partners, but it would be more on an ad hoc basis. We do work through our partners, and we want our partners to be able to help us scale. It's really the way we work. It's the partner model, really. And by the way, I should say there's so much resource out there, guys. I'm happy to maybe feed Crave some really key websites and other areas where you guys can also collect and distribute information out to end customers who want to learn more about RFID. One of the best places for this would be on the RFID Journal Live website. We refer end customers and our partners to that, believe it or not. It's a very objective view on RFID, and there's courses that they also give to end customers, etc. So there's a lot of great knowledge out there.
Sure, that'll be good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know Nitin had a question.
Yeah, the question is to Shrikant.
Go ahead, Nitin.
We are into developing some kind of systems that involve IoT for a lot of our clients. So we have one specific application wherein one of my client requires to monitor or tag the inventory items, but the inventory items are huge. They are big, maybe drums of maybe 5 meters diameters, and they're spread over an area of around 20 to 30 acres. And they use forklifts for moving those drums here and there. And when they want to pick the order up, they don't remember where they have kept it. So can we use some kind of RFID for that, so that, when the forklift unloads it somewhere in the yard, and when he wants to pick it up back, is there a solution for that?
Yes, there is. How about Nitin, we touch base separately, set up some time.
No problem at all.
If you could ping me your email address and the contact number, we can set up some time and then have a chat.
I would mention it here itself. And in one other application, one of our other client manufactures some high value brass items, but very small. And he doesn't know, and he consumes it himself, maybe electrical switchgear items. So from one store to other store, they carry a lot of small items which maybe are packed in a pack of 50 each. And there is no way he can find out how much, how many packs are remaining there. So if he can use some RFID there, and so that at one shot he knows how much stock inventory is lying in his warehouse.
Yeah, there are other ways too, so we can definitely talk.
Yeah, so there are 2 items which I need to talk to you. Maybe we can schedule a call sometime later.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, my pleasure.
And I know we had we'll take one last question. It's from Ratnesh Kumar. He says, contactless supply chain is priority. Can we get vendor management solution on OPEX model or OPEX model to address this workflow?
What was that? Contact what?
Contactless supply chain is a priority, and can we get vendor management solution on OPEX model to address this workflow? And Ratnesh, I see you're still on.
Yeah, vendor management, actually perfect timing. Actually, our team just now put together on a OPEX model for the vendor management. So please reach out to us. I'll connect you with the product owner, and then you can talk to him.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Actually, we have a few automotive customers who are primarily looking at making their just-in-time supply chains, where they're receiving almost about 500 to 600 trucks every day. They want to make it document-free and completely contactless, where the trucks can just drive through the doors and go to the dock doors and do the unloading part, and documents can be exchanged over some online portal.
We just did the similar project for a large petrochemical company in US. So yeah, and also one in India. So we can talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Sure. Please share your contact details. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I know we went over a little bit. Thank you everyone for joining. And again, with any other questions, feel free to reach out directly to Shrikant. Right down here it says Shrikant at CraveInfoTech.com. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.